Hey everybody, welcome back. It's The Revolution. Today we're going to be learning how to set up a screen. A basic, kind of like a window almost, for your game to put all your awesome little sprites and weapons and items inside your game. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to open up Eclipse. We're going to double click on that. If you guys don't have a file or a folder already, we're going to set the workplace to a folder I called YouTube. It's going to load up Eclipse, while Eclipse is loading up. This is going to be the first thing that we're going to see. Welcome to Eclipse, yada, yada, yada. We're going to X out the welcome screen. So to our left, we have the Package Explorer. In the middle, this is where we code. And our right's our outline. Our bottom is, all of our problems and stuff. Well, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to right click. We're going to click New. We're going to click Java Project. Now, this Java project can be whatever you want. You can name it the game. I'm going to name it Zergon because, that's a game that I've made in the past. So then it's going to make a little folder up here. We're going to click on the little arrow, go to the source file. We're going to create a class. So this class is going to be called window. So guys, if you don't know naming conventions, you always want to make the first letter in a class capital. So then we're going to get this. So guys, this is where we're going to do all of our awesome coding. This is what we like to call a class for all of you people who have never touched Java before. It is comprised of three things, right? So we have classes, we have methods, and then we have statements. Statements go in methods, methods go in classes. Right now, this is a class. Basically, think of it as, kind of like a folder for all of your methods to go in. What is a method? Well, I'll show you guys what a method is. So static, public, void, main, string, args. Get a little bit of that in there. This is what we like to call your main method. So whenever you run your program, everything that's inside of these two brackets right here is ran or, gets executed, right? So this is the class, right? Class right there, it goes from here to here. It's the two brackets right there. Everything inside of those brackets are in the class. And then this is the method, right? These little two brackets, everything inside of that is inside the method. So we're going to do a basic command called, system.out.println, right? And we're going to make it print out hi. So once we run this over here to the green button, we're going to click OK, and then down on the bottom here, this is the console, it's going to print out hi. So guys, methods don't usually look like this. This is just the main method, so it has to look specifically different. It is the method that is ran whenever you run your class. Whenever you click this button, it runs the class. You can never really run an individual method. You can only run classes, right? So this is our main method. So everything that we write in here is going to get executed. Now, if you guys don't really know that too much of Java, I suggest you look up a few syntax tutorials or stuff like that. We're going to be moving quite quickly throughout this tutorial. So like I said, guys, the objective for this tutorial is to get a screen up. So I'm going to show you guys some of the syntax, right? First thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to create a method, right? Because I'm going to do this in a very simple way. We're going to create a method called to create a method, by the way, you need a few keywords. You need static, public, void, and then we can do whatever, our name of our method is. I misspelled static over here. We're going to call it frame, right? Or whatever, window, whatever you guys want to call it, is what we can call it, right? So this is what we like to call another method, right? So, opening bracket, closing bracket, whatever's in here is what's going to run. But, as you guys may know, the method only runs whatever's in here, right? So, if we make, system.out.println, which is the syntax for print something out on the screen, we're going to try to run this. What do you guys think is going to happen, right? This is the main method. This is just another method we made, individually, right? So, we run this, and whoop-de-doo, it only says hi. It does not say hi3. Because the main method is the only one that runs. Well, how do you get other methods to run, you ask? You go down here, you type in the name of the method, and you do that. You do little parentheses and then just a statement. So that's what we like to call calling, right? We're calling this method, right? So check this out. Now it's going to say hi and hi3. So whenever you want to call another method from inside a method, you just type in whatever the method's name is and then a little semicolon, which pretty much goes after every single line of code, or every single statement, I should say. So these guys, like I said, these are statements, these are methods, and this is a class. So my phone is ringing. I'm going to have to chuck that now across the room like I just did there. Okay, guys. So now getting back to the actual window thing, hopefully that is, explanation enough for how Java works. I know it's very quickly. It's very simple and fast. We're going through these not really taking too much time. So guys, to make a window, right, we're gonna use something called a J-frame. Now, if you ever heard of a J-frame, it's quite common. So JFrame frame. Now everything is going to look very confusing, but I'm going to explain to you what everything means in just a moment. Syntax, guys, is very important. This is very good to know. So basically, now you're going to show up with an error, right? This is what we like to call an object. So basically, you're saying, okay, make a JFrame called frame. So in Java, we have two things, right? We have initialization, which is saying, oh, that's a variable, and then we have declaration, which is saying, oh, that's a variable, and there's its value. Well, same thing with this, right? Okay, so maybe I should go back a step and talk about variables, right? This is basically saying there's an integer called a, right? It doesn't have a value yet. It's like a variable. You know, in math, how you have like x or y. Well, it's the same thing. So we have an integer, and we called it a. Now we have an integer, called it a, and we set a equal to 0. So now whenever we type in a, it's basically like typing in 0. So for instance, if we print something out on the screen, we do a instead of it typing out or printing out a, it's literally going to print out 0. But before we do that, since this is giving us an error, we're going to comment that out, which means that code is not going to run 0. See that? So if we made a equal to 10 and we wanted to print out a, it would print out 10. You guys see how that works? Well, this is basically the same thing, right? So we're saying there's a JFrame called frame, and we're setting it equal to a new JFrame. What a JFrame is basically, just a window. So we're going to come over here, we're going to click import JFrame just because, it has its own import statement. So now we basically have a JFrame, right? Whenever we want to change settings in the JFrame, we're going to type in the name of the frame and then dot. And then after we type in dot, we can do things like set size or, anything we really want. We're going to set the size of this. And this goes by pixels, guys, so we can do 100, 100, which is basically going to set the size to, 100, 100. So now we're going to come over here. Okay, why isn't this working? Well, the frame was not set up. Oh, I think I know. Frame dot set visible. Because, we always have to make the frame actually visible. Here, we're going to come over here, try this again. Maybe this will work. There we go. So there's our frame. I know it's quite small. It's 100 by 100, or it's supposed to be at least. And yeah, so this is our little frame. This is where our game's going to be. Awesome. So guys, these are basically the 3 mandatory things to, setting up a window. Also, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to extend JPanel, just, for future reference, because we're going to be using not only the JFrame, but the JPanel as well. So we're going to import that. What those things are, I suggest you guys look them up. This is some very basic syntax, guys. We can set this to anything. Our game can be running in 500 by 500. So I guess you guys can imagine what this would look like. We have like a little character in here. We can move them around, yada, yada, yada. We have objects, good things like that. So this is basically, the tutorial 1, showing you guys how to set up a frame and, getting into some object-oriented programming. Right here, this is what we like to call an object, right? I'm going to go through a basic, Java 101 for you people that don't completely understand what I'm doing yet, right? So in Java, we have things called variables, right? We have ints, int a. We have booleans, boolean b. We have, whatchamacallits, longs, long, c. We have all these different types of data types, right? So these are called data types, right? They're variables. So we have, a data type of an integer, so that's a number. We have a data type of, true or false, a boolean. And we have a data type of a long, which is also another type of integer. But for this example, we're going to do a string, right? So ints are, numbers, booleans are true or false, and strings are letters, right? So if we go over to int a, we can set this equal to 0. Boolean b, we can set this equal to true. And c, we can do that. We can do all that, ready? So that's like a string. But if we ever try to, make a integer equal to a string, it's going to give us an error, right? See that red? That means there's an error. If we ever try to make a boolean equal a int, oh shit, what did I just do? If we ever try to make a boolean equal an int, it is going to also give us an error. So boolean equals 1, nope, error. You can't do that, right? So each data type has its own specific, value to be equal to. If we ever tried to make a string equal to a number, nope. Or a string equal to a boolean thing, nope, can't do that, right? So these are called data types. Now, why does this matter? Well, because if we ever wanted to be like, oh, I want to create a new string, you do string a equals, and then you type in whatever, you want the string to equal. It's already an a, so we're going to call it the string c, right? Also, you can't, reuse names. So this is like int a, you can't have boolean a because you already have int a, so you have to do boolean b or string c, whatever. So right, so string C equals, and then whatever. So why does this matter? Well, JFrame frame equals new JFrame. So this kind of doesn't make sense to you. Well, check this out. String C equals new string. It's basically the same thing. It's literally the same exact thing, except for with these certain JFrames, you can't just be like JFrame frame equals and then like the name of the frame. You can't do that. You have to literally say JFrame frame equals new JFrame. You can basically do that with any of these. The reason why that ints and booleans and strings don't have to do that is because they're specific types of data types. So they're like simpler, and since so many people use them so often, Java decided to make them easier. But yeah, so that's kind of object-oriented programming 101 right there. We said, okay, so there's going to be a JFrame. We're going to set the JFrame to 500 by 500, and then we're going to set it visible. Pretty good, guys. Hopefully you all enjoyed this tutorial. It was pretty simple in my eyes. Not much was really going on. If you guys don't know basic Java, I suggest you take a course in your school and learn some of that before you really start jumping into game development. But don't worry, we're going to go slow. Hopefully it's going to make sense to everyone, and I'm never going to get away from you guys. Don't worry. So I hope you guys all enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys all in the next video. Peace.